So last day what we did like what is about theme, what is epic, what is user stories, what is task, okay, how we need to give those points and all, correct? So those things we discussed, that's perfectly okay. So based on that, you guys also submitted those assignment, correct? If you still not submitted assignment, check those like previous class day 5 video, how we actually concluded that. So today we will going to discuss how to set the priority, because product owner created the product backlog. So that is ready. He or she shared with you as a scrum master, that is also ready. And based on that, as a scrum master, you created theme, epic, user stories. So up to this is clear. Now this is the time for a particular feature or product backlog, what product owner is asking to build. Based on that, if we need to decide what are those user stories, we have to, like you have to do in a to-do list when you are starting your work. So how those priority you will going to set for your development team as a scrum master. So first, this thing we will check today. Secondly, once this priority is set, correct, or at the time of priority creation only, you as a scrum master don't know how much time your developer is required. So parallelly, we have to learn how to play the playing poker game, so that when they will give you all those points, individuals user stories wise point, correct? So based on that, you have to decide which those priorities user stories they need to deliver. Okay, so let's start with first playing poker. So playing poker, how it's happened, we all know, like in playing poker, so we follow Fibonacci series, correct? Like 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, correct? Or if that's like a very max, it's coming like a complexity. So suppose you are saying 34. So I would say don't consider 34, just consider up to 21. Why so? Because if 34 is coming, so that's mean you required more than a week to complete that particular task or user story. If that is so, so that's mean that's not a user story. Again, it will become a epic. So that particular user stories you can also divide in a multiple user stories. So whatever the thing is coming within a week, treat that as a user story. If that is coming like beyond a week or 7 days, split that. Try to split again. So our end goal will be, when we are creating theme epic user stories, each user story need to complete within a 7 days. Okay. Now over here, how things are going to happen. Once this user story written are done by Scrum Master, then you are going to sit with your customer, your team, everyone. Okay. And your customer or client or you on behalf of them, you will going to read that story. You will going to make your developer understand what functionality you are looking for. Then you will going to ask them, like on your mark, like 1, 2, 3, whenever you will going to say, whoever present in that meeting, like your developer, your QA, your designer, your UX, everyone will going to say some bit of points from that Fibonacci series, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, in between of that. So suppose what happened now, based on this picture only you can assume, suppose this is your team members individually. So one team member said 2, one team member said 3, one team member said 5, correct? Now suppose another team member said 8. So one team member said 2, another team member said 8. Now being a Scrum Master, you need to ask what happened. What happened suddenly? Why you said 2 and you said 8? Correct? You just ask that question and leave it to them so that the team can discuss on those points. Okay. So whoever thought about 2, he will explain why he thought 2, and another person who thought about 8, he will share his idea why he thought about 8. Then you can see in that meeting only, there is a hell lot of idea gap is there. How the first person is thinking, how the next person is thinking. So once they discuss, so that's mean that gap is going to mitigate. Then what will happen? Every team member will be in the same page. Correct? So once discussion done, again ask your team to everyone. Correct? Because others are also listening their idea. So if they want to change, they can also change. So with the same user story, again ask on my mark 1, 2, 3, you guys say again the point. Now you can realize everyone will going to say we are about same or almost same. Like everyone will going to say suppose 2, 3, correct? Or everyone is saying 5. So don't consider this 4. 4 is not there. So it's just an example they given, but this is a wrong picture. So it should be 2, 3, 5, 8. Okay, like that. So until and unless everybody in a same page or almost a close range, almost a close, like 2, 3 is very close, 3, 5 is very close. If something is happening like 2 to 8, okay, or 2 to 13, or someone said 3, someone said 21, it's a big range. So the range should be very close. Then what you're going to do, you have to come back in this board and you have to update the story point. Okay. Now you can see something and you have to write somewhere, like whoever is participating in that user story or playing poker game or planning poker game, in round 1 which point they said, in round 2 which point they said. So in round 1 you can see there is a gap, 5, 5, 8, 13. So once you asked Matt, like who said 5, or Christian who said 5, and Sandra who said 13, so let them discuss. So once they discuss, go for a round 2 with the same user story. Now everybody in the same page, everybody is saying 8. Correct? So this is all about the playing poker game. This is very easy. So first, what you need to do, you have to tell the story from your user story, being a Scrum Master, so that your team can understand about that user story very clearly. Then ask them, like you have to give me a point, okay, based on the effort and complexity. So the point will be 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. So 2 means is easy, 21 is means the effort is huge. Okay. The effort if is going beyond 7 days. So that's mean that user story you have to split. So that individual user story should close within 7 days. Then they will give their point on your mark like 1, 2, 3. Once if there is a gap in between that range, like I just showcased, like 5 and 13, correct? Ask them to discuss. So your team will going to discuss within them. If they have any doubt, they will going to clear with you again. Now again ask with for the same user story, and when they will give their point, you can see their point will be same, like a round 2, all like a 8. Okay, so like this way, whatever the user story you created, for every user stories, you have to play that game one by one, correct? So that individual user story should be clear to your developer or QA or designer or UI front end, everyone, so that they can create based on that task. Last day also we discussed theme, epic, user stories you will going to create, task will going to create by the developers or your team members. Okay. And being a Scrum Master, it will be very easy to understand for you for this particular within these 21 days in this sprint, how many user stories you are going to cover. And within that, how many user stories having like 0.2, having like 0.3, having like 0.5, 8, 13, 21. Correct? So that's when it's very easy for you or product owner to understand like what are those user stories very easy and what are the user story is easy, but maybe some effort is required. Correct? Or maybe complex effort is required huge. So you can easily understand. Now, what is going to happen based on that, once you play, you can easily judge within 21 days how many user stories they can capable to build. Correct. Now, obviously, if you played, suppose you wrote 70 user stories being a Scrum Master. Now you played for 70 user stories, but everything is not possible to build within 21 days. Then what will happen? You have to sit with them regarding this. This called Moscow, MOSCOW, MOSCOW. Okay. So what is Moscow? Moscow is basically a prioritization technique for Agile. So with that, what is going to happen is saying must have, should have, could have, won't have. Must have means it's have to have, means you can't deny these user stories, correct? Or maybe some dependencies there, like without building this user story, you can't build another user story. So it should be like a must have, that is non-negotiable. This is something like minimum viable product, what we called MVP, correct? Unable to deliver the end product without this, not legal with it, unsafe without it. Without this project is not viable at all, right? So this is must have. So your product owner or Scrum Master, being a Scrum Master, you can easily decide, correct? Now should have, important but not vital, means like priority 2, not in top priority. Maybe painful to live out, but the solution is still viable. Like if you are not building, yes, your user will going to suffer. User have to do some manual job without that, but you can survive. At least your product can survive, correct? May need some kind of workaround, like I just said, some manual work is required. Now could have, desirable. So first one is non-negotiable, second one is important, third one is desirable, that is saying could have. Desirable but not as important as should have. Okay, means again this is something like delightful things. If you are giving, it's really good for that user, but not like non-negotiable or important. Only do if there is extra time and budget, correct? So means suppose there is some small UI issue is there or design issue is there, correct? You are thinking you have to fix that, otherwise quality is going to hamper. But this is something desirable, like you are thinking, like if you can do, then it will be really good for the user, but they can survive without that also, correct? This is not like a big important thing, because your logic and your comment, everything is working fine. Only a small UI part, it looks bad. I know that UI UX is matter over there, but still they can survive. Won't have now, won't have this time around at all, out of budget, nice to have, but has no real impact. So suppose your MVP launch, correct, like minimum viable product. So you are thinking, or your roadmap is saying you have in your hand like 6 to 8 months to launch something, correct? Now you can't build everything within that time because your feature list is huge. So then you have to decide, not you actually, you have to decide with, along with the product owner, like in MVP roadmap, what are those things is required, okay? And after MVP launch, when you are giving like version 1 or version 2, so you can plan like a version. Like in version 1, I want to give this, version 2 this, version 3 this. So it's okay. Like when a customer is basically purchasing from you, so customer will going to check what is the future of that product? So if you are saying this is our MVP launch, so customer will understand this is like a basic thing they are launching. So obviously they have some roadmap. So let me see your roadmap. So being a product owner or Scrum Master, you have to showcase that your roadmap. So these are the things will going to come next 1 year or 2 years. So if you are showcasing, so they will really understand like how things are going to work with him. Now, again, then this is the part of Scrum Master. Now being a product owner, now suppose that customer or user is saying, it's okay, whatever the roadmap you decided, but if you bit change, so in this domain, okay, so it will going to really help. Now again, that's the job of the product owner who have to change the product backlog. That's why for a product owner or Scrum Master, backlog refinement is very important time to time, so that you can easily prioritize what need to be must have, should have, could have, and won't have. Okay. So once that is done with your user stories with this, then what you need to do in a board, you have to create something like this. And now just think this individual thing, if you are treating as a sticky one, like a sticky notes, correct? So, and if you have this kind of board where you can easily define in a four quarter means must have, should have, could have, won't have. So in this quarter, you can easily place your user stories. And from here only, this is very clear. Must have means your MVP. Should have means version 1. Could have means version 2. Won't have means version 3. Correct? So from here only, you can easily get an idea like in what are those version, what are those things are coming. Correct? So what you need to do? So being a Scrum Master, first you got product feature from your product owner. Now you created those theme. Now based on theme, individual theme, you are creating multiple epics, correct? But when you wrote over here, so this is a bit problematic things actually happen. Like we have to give a theme name as well. Okay, like see, want to build blah 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 things are there, correct? So this is perfectly okay, but we have to give something so that it should be understandable very easily. Like let's say, suppose I'm saying TH, this is like my theme 101. Okay, no color, create. So one level I created, correct? So I'm choosing this. So I choose. So now the same way, what I need to do, wait. Now it's added. Last time it's not added. Okay, so theme is mapped. I close this. Now I'm coming over here. What I will do, I will click on edit level. I will choose this again over here. Okay, and click on save. Now what happened actually? Now this is what happened. What I did. Correct. See, this is level member is coming something some way. Over here also, I mapped. How I map? I click on this open card. Correct. So this is the level is coming. So maybe you can give some color as well. So suppose you are giving this is the color. Correct. Save color. Now once I set that color, what happened? Just see. TH 101, TH 101. This is map. Correct. Now along with that, you have to create another one, another level. So suppose you are saying epic 101. Okay, so you are giving this color, you create it. Okay, now you save. Now you are going to over here. You are going for over this edit level. Okay. Another level you are adding, that is epic 1. Correct and save. So that's mean you can easily map. This is the theme. So this is like a parent theme. This parent theme is having this epic. This epic is having these user stories. Correct. So it's the same way you can create another level like user story 101. Okay. So you given user story 101, you saved. Now, how this can be helpful when you are creating a task. Suppose task 1 you created. Okay, when you are creating this task, correct? So that point of time only, you can easily map with this and add card. So that's mean, see how it's mapped, how you can know like this theme is holding this many epics, this epic is holding this many user story, this user story is holding this task. So with this level only, you can easily map, correct? Once this mapping is done over here, correct? So picture is clear. Now you have this priority. So based on this priority, whatever the playing poker game points actually came, based on that you can set the priority, you can set the roadmap. Cool. So now what I actually need for you guys as a assignment, okay, like you have to think, if you are building a crm, crm, if you are building crm, full form customer relationship management. Okay, you can search, lots of features are there. Now based on this feature, you have to create the theme, you have to create the epics. One epic can hold a user stories that you have to give. Now after that, you have to create this sort of estimator sheet, correct? As you don't have team with you, so that's okay, not an issue. You just give example kind of points over there. Okay, so based on that, now decide what are those feature or user stories need to be like must have, should have, could have, won't have. And finally you have to create this sort of section, correct? Now you don't have a sticky note, correct, because you are utilizing over here like a Trello board. So what you will do, you will create another board, correct? If I can create, I can click, I can create a board. So I will create, like you will going to create a board. In that board, you will going to give the name like must have, should have, could have, won't have. Okay. Once that is done, then from this user stories, copy, just copy that user story and move in that particular board, particular section. Like if you are thinking this user story need to be must have, correct? So copy that user story and paste in that board what actually look like this, like a priority. In that must have, you need to paste, so that from this board it should be like picture perfect. Or or you can do one thing, another thing, like go to edit level, create another level, just write something like must have, make it a green color, create that and stop. Okay, so that from here we can easily understand, like if I'm going to over here, correct? So from select level only, uh, yes. So suppose you are writing must have. Search cards. So I wrote correct, like must have. So whatever. Oh, okay, that I have to see why it's not coming. Open cart, level, every levels are here. Okay, maybe I have to refresh once. Let me refresh. Let me go to filter. Yeah, now it's have must have. So see from here. So from here only, we can easily understand what are those MVP user stories we are focusing. Correct? So this is the way you have to arrange this code properly. Okay. And the task will be you suppose your product owner is want to build a CRM. Now, if you want to search CRM features, correct? So you can easily search. So once you click, see, this is the workflow automation, customization, third-party integration, customer service, employee tracking, social media, lead management. So multiple features are there, correct? Now you can ask me like, sir, I don't know like how it's going to work because I don't know about CRM. It's okay. It's okay. But you have to do the research. You have to do the research like how a CRM is going to work. You can search in Google, you can check multiple YouTube videos, Salesforce, HubSpot, correct? Then Monday, then Bittrex 24, then Chapley. So multiple in numbers of CRM is there in the market. Okay, you have to just decide what are those top feature you need to include, what are those epic will be, theme will be, and user stories will be, and then you have to set their points, story point. You have to map like TH101, EP101, US user story like this way, and there should be some priority sets based on the Moscow prioritization so that it can easily assume like in MVP version, what are those user stories you or your team is going to conclude. Okay. So up to this, any question? I don't know, Punnayu, you can hear me or not. Jointo, you are hearing or not. So let me stop recording, then ask the questions.